Okay, so let's take a look at this particular author calls them subdomains, but I think we'll have a better name for that as we continue taking a look. So we have problem solving. Now when I say problem solving, you say problem solving. So make this into an educational verbal practice video. Reason abstractly and quantitatively. These feel like capabilities, if you ask me. Can you problem solve? Can you reason abstractly? And can you reason quantitatively? Let's see what the next one is. Construct viable arguments and critique reasoning of others. Very important. Can you construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others? Can you model with mathematics? Strategic tool use. There's tools for every discipline, and you use them strategically. Attend to precision. Every area has a scale. How precise do you want to be with your language or your subject that you're speaking of or writing about? Look for and make use of structure. So whatever it is, there must be some type of structure. Look for it. Find it. And then once you find it, make use of it. Look for and express regularity in repeated reasoning. So there's something called repeated reasoning. It has regularity. That's a complex one. So look for and express regularity in repeated reasoning. Asking questions, defining problems. So you can start the problem solving process by simply asking the question and then define the problem. It'll eventually get solved, hopefully. Developing and using models. So once you can't use it unless you develop it. So develop it first, then you can use it. Planning and carrying out investigations. So research. How do you prepare to do the research and how do you actually do the research? Analyzing and interpreting data. Lots of data nowadays. Once you get it, what are the properties of the data? Once you analyze it, what can you do with it? What aha moments come out of that data? Using mathematical and computational thinking. So those math guys and those computer guys think differently than the creative singers and songwriters and actors and speakers and managers of the world. What is the thinking of, what is computational thinking? What is mathematical thinking and how to use it? constructing explanations and designing solutions. So you have an explanation to whatever happened, good or bad. How do you construct that explanation into a sentence or into a verbal statement? And once you do that, you're going to have to design a solution to that problem. So this one, engaging in argument from evidence. You need to take that evidence and use that as the basis of the argument that you're actually interacting with somebody in. It's very difficult to have a good argument without good evidence. All right, next one here. Obtaining, evaluating, and communicating information. Everything seems to have an information component. Obtaining, you got to get it. Evaluating, you got to figure out what it is that you got. And communicating, you got to tell people about it. What did you find out? That's a good one. Comprehension and collaboration. Collaboration's working with others, and comprehension is knowing what you're doing. Conventions of standard English. Well, if you're a non-English speaker, or even if you're a young child learning English for the first time, there are certain conventions that you just have to be aware of in order to use this particular human language called English to communicate with other people. So know those conventions, though, and learn standard proper English. Have a foundation, a strong foundation. Craft and structure. Now earlier we had a structure as well, but this one's craft and structure. So I'm thinking real world hands-on application of building something and creating a structure that can be used. Fluency. They could be referring to the spoken language, but they could also be more of a competency of the topic. But if you can speak it, you will sound more professional, and you'll have a deeper grasp of the topic. Integration of knowledge and ideas. So if we already have a bunch of knowledge, proven, well-known, well-accepted knowledge, but we have all these ideas about what could be or how things could change, how do we integrate those two concepts? Key ideas and details. There's always a key idea and details behind whatever it is. Line by line, specifics to the larger concept. Knowledge of language. Lots of languages. Could be computer languages, human languages, but just understanding the principles, the syntax, the structure, the common ideas behind all these languages probably will be very useful in your life. Phonics and word recognition. Phonics. It's been a while since I heard that word. But word recognition, if I throw out a word on this diagram, do you know what it means? And if you think you know what it means, do you have a deeper understanding of it? Word recognition. Phonological awareness. So phonological awareness would have to be relating to speech and the different inflections and phrasing and pauses and rhythm of the spoken word, which would probably make you a good public speaker, or at least have higher confidence in what you're communicating. Presentation of knowledge and ideas. Again, similar to public speaking, but you may have all this knowledge and you may have ideas, but how do you present that effectively to the common man on the street or a large group of people from different walks of life and different backgrounds? The presentation of that knowledge is critical to communicating what you mean. Print concepts. I'm guessing this is pretty basic, relating to when you publish something to a journal or create a book or create something physical or publication of some sort. Production and distribution of writing. Okay, so that's probably in line. If you can write a bunch of words in a bunch of paragraphs to have an impactful meaning once read, how do you distribute that? And how do you repeat it? How do you put it through your production line and write variations? How do you become a writer, essentially? Range of reading and level of text complexity. So depending on how the words are organized, how big the words are, how long, the abstract concepts the words are supposed to convey, what is your ability to read child books, 8th grade reading, college level, PhD level? What's your range of reading? And what's the level of the actual text complexity, possibly, that you can read and or write? How detailed, how poetic, how descriptive is that text that you read or wrote? And along the track with range of reading, we have range of writing. Research to build and present knowledge. This seems a lot like this other one, investigations. Planning and carrying out an investigation. Maybe that's more political science, profiling, identifying one specific story that occurred that must be discovered. versus scanning a lot of information, researching topics and aggregating them together to publish your own paper, to present new knowledge. So an investigation may not actually present, the end result's not going to be some new knowledge or idea, but in this case it would be. All right, so we have research, right, to build and present knowledge, and then text types and purposes. Text type and the purpose of the text type. That can mean a lot of things. There's fonts, or there's data types used for certain purposes, integers and strings and programming concepts. But probably once you identify the type of text, maybe it's a noun or pronoun or subject or verb, in what ways can you use them? What's the purpose of that particular type? Possibly just in grammar and a sentence structuring. Vocabulary acquisition, which we're doing today, and use. So get the vocabulary, get the words, and then know how to use them, how to speak them, how to write them. Hopefully you're repeating these after I say them out loud. Developing questions and planning inquiries. So on the opposite side of statements are questions. And creating a list of questions for some type of inquiry is a useful tool in a lot of areas. Applying disciplinary concepts and tools. So whatever your discipline is or domain, you learn a lot of concepts, but how do you actually apply those to the real world? You learn a lot of abstract tools. How do you implement those in real world problems and situations and relationships? Gathering and evaluating sources. So especially in the publication area, you need to go find other people's work, gather it, and then sort through it. And then once you find where it came from, go ahead and cite that in your publication as the source that is helping you to write this new piece of information, or helping you explain a new topic to your colleagues or students or friends or family. Developing claims and using evidence. I claim this. This is what I believe. This is what I saw. How do I write that down? Because in the legal world, almost everything seems to be a claim, and then the evidence supports or denies the claim. We had evidence up here as well. So proof that it's true or false. Communicating and critiquing conclusions. If you got a friend that tells you something, you might want to critique whether that's reasonable or not. And then once you critique it, you probably should be able to communicate that critique. I don't believe it. I do believe it. I don't believe it because of this. I do believe it because of that. All right, last one here. Taking informed action. That's a good one to end on because you guys have sat through this video and you've made it to the end. Are you going to take informed action? I've informed you about these concepts, these subdomains of K through 12 education. But what are you going to do with this? I recommend going back, watching this again, speaking this out loud, just getting through it. Click pause if you need to. Let's say each one of these 10 times. And if you don't know what it is, get on the web and Google what certain topics are. So we're going to call these subdomains, subdomain capabilities. Because each one of these is something that you can do, that you can identify, that you can accomplish, that you can attain. Subdomain capabilities. All right, how many do we have here? 4 times 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 is 36, 37, 38, 39. Really, 39 of these, huh? Okay. 39 capabilities for K through 12 education. Okay, 39 capabilities. I'll just say subdomain capabilities. There we go. For K through 12 education.